July 7th, 2025. Good morning or good afternoon. This is Greg Massini. I'm the owner of Bay Metal Detectors, a multi-line dealer since 1983. And I'm here today with the Board of Pain and Truth. And I'm going to challenge that board with the Tarsacci MDT 8000. The Tarsacci is a relatively new company, but the owner and engineer, Demeter, has been a hobbyist for 20 plus years, and he worked for Fisher. And under Fisher, he had the coin strike, gold strike models. In addition, he had the coin ID and one other one, the name escapes me. Anyway, in 2018, he contacted me and gave me a demonstration. I was impressed, and I've used hundreds of different makes and models. What sets the Tarsacci apart is its overall performance. Today I've got the larger loop, the 12-inch, and it will give up to 60% greater performance in the ground over all the competitive makes and models. And that is that the performance over those other detectors will increase depending on the mineral. In other words, if you don't have any mineral in the ground, it's like an air test. Calabash Digger in the Carolinas is an example of that. His test garden is over like 15, 20 different targets. You don't need that. You need just two basic targets, a low conductor and a high conductor. I use a dime and a nickel. A nickel represents 45% of the gold rings anyway. But, Calabash test garden is very complex. You folks out there just need to bury two targets, and that way you get kind of an idea of how your detector will perform in your soil, because the mineralization of the soil is like a target in and of itself, and it can bridge to the trash, the ferrous targets, the non-ferrous targets, and can play havoc with performance. Anyway, bearing in mind an air test is only one indicator. That's the remade Board of Pain and Truth. I combined both of them. Larry had a separate Board of Pain, and he had a separate Board of Truth over at Big Valley and Citrus Heights, and I will give him a plug. Excellent service, teaching his customers so at least they're prepared to go out there and they know what they're doing. He is not a Tarsacci dealer because he respects my territory, and he, like myself, we're in kind of semi-retirement. So the internet has changed a lot of things and ruined a lot of companies. And, they drop ship from China, and there's been counterfeits. And I'm not going to go into that. It just works me up. Anyway, get back to this. So we could do 2 or 3 different type of tests with this. For one thing, you have a separation test. I can go slow. And I can go fast. The Tarsacci has a very fast processing in it. We also have, I practice this too a lot, is trying to save energy and not dig trash. And these damn pull tabs can be a nuisance. So with the mixed mode, you have an all-metal lead-in, followed by an amplified discrimination response. That discrimination response can be also triggered by EMI. So it's important to reduce your sensitivity trying to achieve stability. But listen, I'm going to go over the small go ring. Give me a 4, and the pull tab and the man's go ring. See the all metal lead in? It's a lot longer. If I go over the pull tab, it's quicker. If I go over the small go ring, it's a little bit wider than a tab by about 20%. I call that the Massini oscilloscope method, and I'm doing a paper on that. Now, here's the other part. This sets the Tarsacci aside. You can increase the salinity balance. So if I go over the pull tabs, the foil, there's nothing. Starting to pick up that target, but it's a small board. See, there's no response. And yet if I advance it towards the nickel, buffalo nickel there, no problem. If I move the nickel, do it by hand, and if I move it right in the center of the foil, no problem. Still get the same readout, about 5. Now, mixed mode is all metal and discrimination. So if I'm down at minus 30 to plus 30, I'm going to hear that nail, the square nail. I'm going to hear the all metal lead in, and then it's followed by a very low tone. The first tone, which is a very low tone, gives you kind of a thunk, thunk. But in an iron-infested area, whether I'm at the beach or parks, I don't like listening to that. I like enjoying, and I like a quiet detector. So I've turned off that amplified thunk sound by going to discrimination of 0. So watch, when I go over that nail, you don't hear any thunk. So that's the beauty, and I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world. Without that, and listening to all that iron sound, even if you mute the sound down a little bit, it's still there, it's still distracting, and you'll be pausing a lot more and chasing after stuff, thinking maybe there's a good coin in the shadow. But the reality is, a good discriminator will knock about 85 to 90% of the nail noise out. Sometimes that nail can bleed through and you think that you got 2 targets there and you don't. So why waste the energy and the effort? Folks, I'm no longer 24 years of age. I wish I was, and I wish I had this knowledge. But I want a fun hunt, a quiet hunt. I don't want to be listening to a very noisy detector. And some of the analogs, like Tesoro, you could adjust those quiet, and they had the best audio in the business. All these nuances you could get. Larry does a video on the Mojave, part 5, and you can hear as he pulls off a tab versus a nickel, you can hear a big difference. And that was analog audio. That's a big advantage over digital beep and dig. Tarsacci, for that reason, has analog audio. But they also have this MDT, which means mixed domain timing. In other words, it's pulse domain and VLF domain. It's 2 in 1. And that's why it has great depth. In addition, to navigate the LCD display is very easy compared to, let's say, an XP, or even I as an XP dealer don't use it that much, and I struggle to navigate all these menus and sub-menus. So Tarsacci's simplicity and its high performance, that's why I call it the Rolls-Royce of metal detectors. Okay, I'll see you later. Don't forget to hit the thumb up and subscribe for new videos. I've got a new chest mount, and by Tellison, I think it's called. It's excellent. It's a neck mount, actually, and it's perfect. I can adjust it. I can angle it. There's my practice PGM equipment from my golf because I do like to swing a golf club, but I love swinging a detector. See you later.